Sometimes there are these moments, these tiny little fractures in time where a single sentence can just split your world wide open. It's when a story that everyone has silently agreed to believe for years just shatters. And for one family, that moment came on an Easter Sunday, somewhere between the ham and the potatoes. Just imagine that question hanging in the air, coming from the 81-year-old grandma at the head of the table, no less. It was a total bombshell. It silenced the entire room and basically lit the fuse for years of unspoken truths to finally come pouring out. And yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? How did it get to this point? To really get it, we've got to unpack the quiet history, the unwritten family rules, and these two parallel lives that were always on a collision course, leading right to this one explosive moment. So let's get into it.
Okay, so to get the full picture, you really have to understand the family's gravitational pull. And right at the center of their whole universe was the older brother, Evan. He was the sun, basically, and everyone else just kind of found their orbit around him.
This right here, this lays out the two completely different realities happening under one roof. You've got Evan, the boy genius, the hometown hero whose every move was treated like a major event. And then you've got his younger sister, Mara, just as brilliant, but she was always just the shy girl. Her going to Stanford was nice. Him going to Caltech was destiny. And look, it wasn't mean-spirited or anything. It was just the way things were. And I mean, this says it all. Their dad literally printed out the homepage of Evan's first little web app, framed it, and hung it in the hallway like it was a Rembrandt. It was basically a shrine to the family's golden child. Meanwhile, Mara wins this major regional debate award, a huge accomplishment, and it just sits on her dresser, totally ignored. The difference is just, wow. So for years, she learned that keeping the peace really just meant making herself smaller, and she did. So this dynamic just keeps building for years. Evan launches his startup, Voltage, becoming the real tech guy in the family's eyes. And all the while, Mara is quietly building this killer career in strategic planning at a huge firm called Helidine Labs. The funny thing is, her family had no clue what she actually did. And then one day, their two very separate worlds are about to smash right into each other. So one morning, a scouting report for potential company acquisitions lands on Mara's desk. And what's sitting right there at the top of the list? Voltage, her brother's company. She opens the file, and right there in black and white is the brutal truth. The numbers do not lie. His amazing tech was stuck inside a business that was going down fast. And this wasn't a sister worrying about her brother. This was a cold, hard, professional analysis. The brother who always kind of dismissed her as the PowerPoint person was now, without even knowing it, having his entire life's work evaluated by her. The irony is just off the charts. Which brings us right back to that sunny dining room on Easter Sunday. The acquisition had happened. Mara had advised from the sidelines to avoid any conflict of interest, and she really thought she could keep her two worlds separate. But, well, the truth had other plans. And that was it. That was the line. The casual, condescending little joke Evan had been making for years. But this time, after everything she knew, something in Mara just snapped. She'd let comments like that slide her whole life to keep the peace. But not today. The whole exchange was just electric. You can feel Evan's confusion just turning to disbelief, and then straight to accusation. He literally cannot process it. His whole world, where he's the tech genius and she does, marketing or something, is just crumbling in front of the mashed potatoes. So he grabs for the only explanation that makes sense to him, pity. And boom, total mic drop from Grandma Leia. With that one sentence, she just rewrites the entire family story. She completely deflates Evan's ego and validates Mara's entire career in a way nobody at that table ever had. It was a complete power shift, and the silence that followed was just deafening. So after Evans stormed out, the real work started. Not in the dining room with everyone watching, but later, quietly, on the porch. The fight was over, and all that was left were two siblings, totally stripped of their old roles, trying to figure out who they were to each other now. This conversation they have on the porch is just everything. Mara admits that the peace she was always trying to keep wasn't peace at all. It was just silence. And Evan, maybe for the first time ever, admits he's scared, not of failing, but of not being the only one in the spotlight. And her response is perfect. You're not second. You're just not alone anymore. That right there, that's the start of something real. And you know what? The change was real. It stuck. This wasn't just some one-day holiday drama. Their parents actually started seeing her. They started asking about her job before asking about his. The balance of power had finally shifted to a healthier place. So, what's the big takeaway from this whole family saga? Well, it turns out, after years of building strategies and products and companies, Mara realized the most important thing she ever helped build was something a lot more personal. And this is the heart of it right here. Real peace isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about being able to handle the truth. Sometimes you actually have to break the quiet. You have to let everything explode so that something real and honest finally has the room to grow. It's a tough lesson, but a necessary one. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. We all have these dynamics, right? At work, with family, with friends, where we stay quiet just to keep things smooth. But hearing a story like this, it really makes you wonder, what unspoken truth in your life is just waiting for its moment? And what kind of honest, real relationship could grow if you finally let it out?